The Law of One, Book 1, Part 39, Session 17, continued. Questioner: how did Taras Bulba, Genghis Khan, and Rasputin get harvested prior to the harvest? I am Ra. It is the right, privilege, duty of those opening consciously the gate to intelligent infinity to choose the manner of their leaving of third density. Those of negative orientation who so achieve this right duty most often choose to move forward in their learned teaching of service to self. Questioner: am I to understand that the harvest is to occur in the year 2011, or will it be spread out? I am Ra. This is an approximation. We have stated we have difficulty with your time-space. This is an appropriate, probable, possible time-space nexus for harvest. Those who are not in incarnation at this time will be included in the harvest. Questioner: if an entity wants to be of service to others rather than service to self while he is in the third density, are there best ways of being of service to others? Or is there any way just as good as any other way? I am Ra. The best way to be of service to others has been explicitly covered in previous material. We will iterate briefly. The best way of service to others is the constant attempt to seek to share the love of the Creator as it is known to the inner self. This involves self-knowledge and the ability to open the self to other self without hesitation. This involves, shall we say, radiating that which is the essence or the heart of the mind-body-spirit complex. Speaking to the intention of your question, the best way for each seeker in third density to be of service to others is unique to that mind-body-spirit complex. This means that the mind-body-spirit complex must then seek within itself the intelligence of its own discernment as to the way it may best serve other selves. This will be different for each. There is no best. There is no generalization. Nothing is known. Questioner: I don't wish to take up extra time asking questions over again. Some areas I consider important enough in relation to the Law of One to ask questions in a different way in order to get another perspective in the answer. In the book Oahspe, it states that if an entity goes over 51% service to others and is less than 50% service to self, then that entity is harvestable. Is this correct? I am Ra. This is correct if the harvesting is to be for the positive fourth dimensional level. Questioner: what is to be the entity's percentage if he is to be harvested for negative? I am Ra. The entity who wishes to pursue the path of service to self must attain a grade of 5. That is 5% service to others, 95% service to self. It must approach totality. The negative path is quite difficult to attain harvestability upon and requires great dedication. Questioner: why is the negative path so much more difficult to attain harvestability upon than the positive? I am Ra. This is due to a distortion of the Law of One, which indicates that the gateway to intelligent infinity be a gateway at the end of a straight and narrow path, as you may call it. To attain 51% dedication to the welfare of other selves is as difficult as attaining a grade of 5% dedication to other selves. The, shall we say, sinkhole of indifference is between those two. Questioner: then if an entity is harvested into the fourth density with the grade of 51% for others and 49% for self, what level of the fourth density would he go into? I am assuming that there are different levels of the fourth density. I am Ra. This is correct. Each enters the sub-density which vibrates in accordance with the entity's understanding. Questioner: how many levels do we have here in third density at this time? I am Ra. The third density has an infinite number of levels. Questioner: I've heard that there are 7 astral and 7 devacanic levels. Is this correct? I am Ra. You speak of some of the more large distinctions in levels in your inner planes. That is correct. Questioner. Who inhabits the astral and devacanic planes? I am Ra. Entities inhabit the various planes due to their vibration nature. The astral plane varies from thought forms in the lower extremities to enlightened beings who become dedicated to teach learning in the higher astral planes. In the devacanic planes, as you call them, are those whose vibrations are even more close to the primal distortions of love light. Beyond these planes, there are others. Questioner. Are there 7 subplanes to what we call our physical plane here? I am Ra. You are correct. This is difficult to understand. There are an infinite number of planes. In your particular space-time continuum distortion, there are 7 subplanes of the mind-body-spirit complexes. You will discover the vibrational nature of these 7 planes as you pass through your experiential distortions, meeting the other selves of the various levels which correspond to the energy influx centers of the physical vehicle. The invisible or inner third density planes are inhabited by those who are not of body complex natures, such as yours. That is, they do not collect about their spirit-mind complexes a chemical body. Nevertheless, these entities are divided in what you may call an artificial dream within a dream into various levels. In the upper levels, desire to communicate knowledge back down to the outer planes of existence becomes less due to the intensive learned teaching which occurs upon these levels. Questioner. Is it necessary to penetrate one level at a time as we move through these planes? I am Ra. It has been our experience that some penetrate several planes at one time. Others penetrate them slowly. Some in eagerness attempt to penetrate the higher planes before penetrating the energies of the so-called more fundamental planes. This causes energy imbalance. You will find ill health, as you call this distortion, to frequently be the result of a subtle mismatch of energies in which some of the higher energy levels are being activated by the conscious attempts of the entity while the entity has not penetrated the lower energy centers or subdensities of this density. Questioner. Is there a best way to meditate? I am Ra. No. Questioner. At this time, near the end of the cycle, how are reincarnations into the physical allocated, shall we say, on this planet? I am Ra. Entities wishing to obtain critically needed experience in order to become harvestable are incarnated with priority over those who will, without too much probable possible doubt, need to re-experience this density. Questioner. How long has this type of allocation been going on? I am Ra. This has been going on since the first individual entity became conscious of its need to learn the lessons of this density. This was the beginning of what you may call a seniority by vibration. Questioner. Can you explain what you mean by a seniority by vibration? I am Ra. This will be the final question of this session of working. The seniority by vibration is the preferential treatment, shall we say, which follows the ways of the law of one, which encourages harvestable individuals, each individual becoming aware of the time of harvest and the need on a self-level to bend mind, body, spirit towards the learned teaching of these lessons by giving them priority in order that an entity may have the best possible chance, shall we say, in succeeding in this attempt. May we ask at this time if there are any brief questions? Questioner. My only question is, what can we do to make this instrument feel more comfortable? I am Ra. This instrument is not wearing the appropriate apparel for this work, as inpourings occur in the regions of the what you may call 7th chakra as you speak of these energy centers, filtering through the 6th and so forth. The entity's other or base chakras become somewhat de-energized. Thus, this entity should be more careful in its selection of warm apparel for the part of the body complex you call the feet. May we answer any other brief questions? Questioner. Then we want to put heavier clothing on the feet. Is this correct? I am Ra. This is correct. I will leave this instrument now. I leave you in the love and the light of the one infinite creator, Adonai.